Hi, everyone. It's Paula Gabriola, and I'll be your host today for the Courage to Be You Video Summit, where you'll be connecting with experts who will teach you how to ignite self-love and passion so that you can attract the most fulfilling relationship in your life. And that relationship is the one with yourself. And our speaker today is Justine Arian. She's a woman's transformational coach, award-winning speaker, and best-selling author, and she's fiercely committed to inspiring purpose-driven women to gain the clarity and confidence they need to be powerful, both personally and professionally, so they can fulfill on their highest potential and purpose. She's also the creator of Finding Me, Impact We, a life-changing annual women's empowerment event. I love the name of that. She's also leads the Awakening Women of Southern California meetup and is the founder of the Multi-Passionate Moms Club, a coaching community to support women who are passionate about being good moms and making a difference while owning their own personal power. So welcome, Justine.
Thank you, Paula. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. We're glad that you're here too. So if you can, share with the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I love this topic of self-love because I think we're all on a journey to love ourselves more, and to find out who we really are and why we're here anyway, right? So my journey started, I was born cross-eyed. I was teased as a child in elementary school and had couple surgeries to correct that. But as you can imagine, being teased like that and looking different, I, began to question myself. I didn't feel good about myself. And, I didn't think, and then, growing up, I was always self-conscious about my eyes because they're still today not 100% corrected. But, so I've always had that sort of like self-consciousness and thinking I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, And then I also have a older brother, who has always been seen as a genius, like very, very smart guy. And so being, a human being in human nature, we compare ourselves to other people. And especially when, relatives or different people are commenting, and acknowledging somebody for their gifts, then I automatically went to, well, I'm less than. I'm not smart. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough. And that is the belief. Those are the beliefs that I took on at a young age. And then I, continued to look for the proof, as most of us do, to back up that belief, that limiting belief. And then it becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It's like if we don't believe we're good enough and we look for the proof of that, then it just reaffirms that we're not good enough. And then it plays out in our lives in various ways, and we don't reach our full potential. There's so many different ways we're impacted, as you probably know.
Yeah.
When we're not completely in tune with who we really are at the core, and really like the beauty and the greatness that lies in each one of us, So for me, that's sort of how it started and how my self-love journey began. And then, even going into college, like I didn't think I was smart enough to go to college, right? And so I applied to 5 universities. I got accepted to all 5, and I couldn't believe it. I still thought something was wrong. I was like, there's no way, And then I graduated UC with honors, and I got to the school and I looked around at the other people there and I thought, what was I thinking? Of course I'm smart enough to be here, And so then it was like I sort of began to look for the proof that I actually was smart enough, And I began to look for the proof that and this one I think took a little bit longer, that I actually am attractive. And, that's one that I had to keep trying to convince myself that, you are attractive, Justine. And, if you look at me now, I mean, I think it's subjective, right? Like anybody can look at somebody, and beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And so really we need to just feel good about who we are, because, like I feel like I have a beautiful smile, and, I feel like there's certain qualities. I have, nice hair, and there's things about me that I do love and that I've always had, but I never focused on those things before, because I'm focusing on my crossed eyes, right? So, anyway, so that's sort of, was my journey. And then I think that the time when things really started to change for me was when I became pregnant with my daughter. And I was 32 years old when I gave birth to my first child. And that journey in and of itself just really changed me to the core. I mean, not just the process of being pregnant and then figuring out, what to do and where do I want to give birth and how and with who, and that I actually have options available to me other than the fear options that are typical in our society, right?
Right.
So it was like this process of self-discovery and what do I want? And then during the birthing time, it was like, what am I capable of? That was the question, and I was challenged to the core. I mean, I chose to have a home birth. So it was unmedicated, and it was the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life. And yet it was the most empowering thing of my life. And when I did that, and there were some complications, and I had over 24-hour labor, like really intense. And, I thought, yeah, I don't know how anyone does this.
I know. How did you do it?
Right? But I did it, and in that moment, really, I birthed a new definition of myself. And, really my own inner strength and really what I'm capable of. And I really had to let go of control. I thought I was one of those people, I don't know if anyone can relate with this, but, I always wanted to be in control, or felt like I needed to be in control. And, it's kind of a joke because none of us really are in control ever. It's like,
we think we are, right?
We are. We want to be. We think, yeah. But, in reality, we don't control outcomes. And all we really can control is how we show up and how we respond, right? So in any situation, and we do have control over that, but that's it. We don't control the outcome. And so in this crazy, birthing time where I questioned everything about myself and the world, I really had to let go of this idea that I was in control, and in that letting go, it was like this new me was birthed. And, it was like I worked with my daughter to bring her into the world. And when she was born and placed on my belly, it was like I knew in that moment that my life purpose had been born, which was to empower other women to really see how strong they are, and to utilize that inner strength to really make a difference in the world for something good. So that's sort of the beginning, and how I got at least to that point. And then, things evolved from there for me. I, at that time, worked with pregnant women, and I was a doula and a childbirth educator and a pregnancy coach. And then my second child was born, and almost about 3.5 to 4 years later, 3 3/4 years, he was born. And then I had a new set of challenges of how do I work a job down at the port, and then I had my coaching business and childbirth business. And then I had a relationship, and I have now 2 children and this newborn. And so my challenge was man, who am I? Who am I now? How do I stay connected to me? Right? How do I manage all of these responsibilities that I have, and be a really good mom and stay connected to my children and maintain my relationship? It's so I figured, well, if I'm having this experience, I'm sure I'm not the only one having this experience. And because I'm, professionally trained coach and I have skill sets, I said, I can probably help other people with these same challenges. So I started leading personal renewal groups for moms, and I started really going on that path, and then sort of got into working with entrepreneur moms. And so today, where I've landed finally through this whole process and my own evolution is really, I love working with women. I have a special place in my heart for moms who really deep down inside know that they're here for something bigger, that they know that they have this deep purpose within them, and that they really care about making a difference for other people. And maybe they're not playing at that level yet because they have self-doubt. They wonder if they can even do it, if they can even manage everything and do it. They wonder, who am I? Who am I and who wants to listen to me anyway, right? Like, we all, I think, we question that at times.
Sure.
And it's, right? And especially when you begin to get in touch with your voice and you begin to get in touch with the thing that you're passionate about and that you would take a stand for, then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm standing on this platform now and everybody's looking at me.
That's scary. It's a little bit scary because I'm going through that right now. But, I was saying to you earlier that I feel like all of the experts that I am interviewing, it's amazing how we are all wanting to say the same thing, but in a unique way that fits who we are. It's just a beautiful thing, and everyone is so creative. So continue on.
Yes, we are all creative beings, and I love that because I believe that each one of us are here with our unique life purpose, our unique life path, our experiences that we've had, the things we've had to overcome, the things that we were born with, certain gifts, and the skills we've learned in our lives along the way. Like, all of these things add up to our unique life journey and our purpose, right? And so we're each going to have a different way of speaking about the same or a similar topic. And that's the beautiful thing, because different people need to hear things in different ways for it to resonate with them, right? And so each one of us have a responsibility to speak our truth, to come forth and to say, here's the lessons I've learned, here's the gifts that I have, here's what I can offer and share, and I know that it will have value for someone. And and that's our only responsibility, is to put that out there and then let it go, release it, because we don't control how it's received. We don't control, the impact that it makes. Like, we give that to the universe, and, whoever's supposed to receive our message will. And, and so I really strongly encourage everybody to do the work, to push past your limiting beliefs, to get really clear on what you stand for. What is important to you? What are you passionate about? What's something that you would take a stand for and fight for, so that you could better the lives of other people? So that they don't have to experience the same things you did, and they'll have their own things to overcome, but you can help them not have to go through what you did, right? And I feel like that's our moral obligation, So I just want to encourage, everybody who feels like, yes, I want to make a difference. Yes, Justine, what you're saying makes sense to me, and I want to do that, but there's that big but, right? Like, who am I? The but, who's going to listen to me? But what if I can't do it all? What if I can't pursue my passion and, be a good mom, or be connected to my family and maintain my relationship, or even focus on self-care? That I want to go to that really quick, just because I think it's so important. And it's really fundamental for us women to learn this, okay? If we are going to make a difference, if we are going to have an impact in the world, if we're going to be effective in our own personal lives, in our own homes, in our own relationships, if we're going to do that, we need to start taking better care of ourselves. We need to look at self-care as a necessity. Like, this is just our oxygen. you know, and this is the thing that is going to feed us and fuel us so that we can do the work we're here to do, so that we can be more effective. Because what I see over and over is women are depleted. Women are overwhelmed, you know, women are disconnected. And it's time to reconnect to ourselves and to really honor ourselves and to do what we need to do so that we can be more effective in our lives, in every area of our lives.
I so agree. I really do. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this summit is that, you know, I feel like given the situation that we're in this world, you know, I think people have really lost touch with who they are. And, you know, we've never been taught really how to love ourselves. So I think this is a new revolution that we're creating and letting people know, you know what, it is okay to love yourself. But then we ask, well, how do we do that, right? So my question is, so how does self-love change the relationships with others? Not only with yourself, but, you know, with your family, your friends, and even your, you know, animals and pets.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, self-love, it's interesting because I think you touched on this, but a lot of people feel like self-love is selfish, or it's, you know, it's kind of, it's like it's indulgent, it's, you know, it's these different things, and there's not like a positive connotation with self-love, right?
Right.
We're saying, you're saying, and other experts and, you know, myself, we're all saying is that let's redefine self-love. Right. And let's, you know, look at it as something that is absolutely necessary, because when we love ourselves, we have the power to love others more deeply. We can receive love more deeply. Right.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like the world needs more love right now. It just, I mean, when you look at the hate and the anger and the violence that's going on, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And it's a very masculine energy that's happening. And so it's like we need to come more into our feminine energy. We need to bring more qualities of love. And that starts with us. That starts with ourselves. When we really love ourselves, then, you know, we can set boundaries better. You know, we have the ability to set boundaries. And when we set boundaries, things work better in our lives, you know, for everybody.
Right.
Our families, they work better for, you know, our clients. They work better for everything when we have boundaries that really work and serve us. And I know so many women who are afraid to set boundaries because they are afraid of what other people are going to think, you know, and that is a radical act of self-love, is really setting boundaries. And so anyway, to your question, the way that I think it impacts others, you know, and you use even the pet, you know, we were talking about have a cat.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way.
Well, you know, it's true. Yeah, you've got to include your pets, your animals. I mean, because they are really connected to source and to you. And, you know, it's important that we love them too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so I just really think that self-love, you know, starts within, and when we love ourselves, we have the ability to love others more and to receive love more, and then we spread that, and there's, you know, this greater impact that happens in the world. So even if somebody was like, you know what, I'm not ready to take on like standing for something and for a purpose, and I'm not ready to, you know, dive into or become an entrepreneur or whatever, that's fine. So just take a stand for love, you know, and take a stand for yourself. Start with yourself, and that will make an impact.
Oh, I love that. Well, you know, I often think, you know, we have these cancer walks, or, you know, fight against cancer. And I always think if we would change the wording to, you know, love for health, and stop saying the C word, right? And making it more about, you know, loving your body. And I just wonder what type of impact that would have if those words were changed for different causes.
Yeah, well,
right?
I think it was Mother Teresa that said, you know, she was invited to come to an anti-war protest. And she said, no, I will not come to that. But when you have a for peace rally, I will come to that. And so it's really this idea of standing for something, not against, right?
Yes, because I think when we go against it, then that creates that friction. There's no way for the love to permeate and then make it grow, right? The way that it's supposed to.
Well, and I think the universe is like, it's all there and available and abundant to us. Like the love, like everything is there. And so we're kind of blocking it when we do that. So when we stand for something, then we're opening up and allowing that thing to come in.
Yes. So can you tell the viewers, what are some tips that you would suggest for them? Say that someone wants to stay committed to loving themselves first.
Yeah.
What could you suggest?
To stay committed. Okay. Well, say commitment to me, I mean, it starts in the mind, like we make a commitment to something, but then it has to be backed up with daily practices. We have to develop new habits. And so to stay committed, it's like begin just really, really small. Take something that you can do today. Like even if it's, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. Right? Like, or whatever you feel comfortable with. You're awesome, whatever. And doing that and begin doing that. And at first it might be really, really uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And then the more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes. And starting with something small, it could be anything, right? That's just an example. And then, continuing to build that muscle and then, taking on something else and getting support and getting an accountability partner, right? Because we all think like we're the only one going through something at any given time. Right? And when we begin to talk about things, when we begin to talk about our struggles and our challenges, it opens a door to a new connection with other people who are having similar struggles and challenges. And when we realize like, wow, other people are having these too, I'm not the only one, then there's hope. There's hope that it can be different, right?
Right.
Other people and they're making changes and they're beginning their journey of self-love and we share ideas. And so I am a huge fan of, joining a group of people who are, or getting a coach or, whatever feels good to you, but having somebody who really sees you for who you are, who sees you for the beauty that you have, for the potential that you hold, and who can hold you in that light and just keep calling you forth. Keep calling you forth into that so that you stay. It's really important, like who we surround ourselves with, right?
Right.
And we're continuing to surround ourselves with the same people who maybe helped us get that negative image of ourselves when we were children. And they're going to continue to reinforce that for us. So as we become adults and we get older and we start recognizing that, we can choose new people to hang out with. And then we can surround ourselves with people who are like-minded, who are positive, who are uplifting, who see us for who we are. And then we begin to see that more for ourselves. And we begin to believe that more, because the more we see something and the more we have a thought about something that's a recurring thought, right, then we form a belief. And that belief can either work for us or against us. Right? And it's easier, I think, to form a belief that doesn't serve us and to hold on to that belief than it is to form a belief about, how great we are.
Yes. Well, I think it all starts, like you said, from our childhood. And, I would love to see the school systems change, what they're teaching. I mean, we're never taught how to love ourselves. And, I just think what an amazing impact it would be if there was a segment or a course or an art course or music on, loving yourself first. I just think it would change this whole world.
Yeah, I'm actually, I'm on the board of directors for the Women's Journey Foundation, and they do an annual conference for women and also for girls' self-esteem. And we just had the girls' conference a couple of weekends ago, and it was just, it was my first time attending, and it was just so amazing to be there and to witness these girls ages 8 to 18 who are just like, being told and being given the space and the opportunity to see their greatness, to see that they're okay, like exactly as they are, you know. And a lot of these girls came from the foster system, and you know, a lot of these girls have had different you know, rough pasts, and you know, their idea of themselves might be you know, even I think all girls actually are at risk, you know, for low self-esteem. All girls, no matter what background you come from, you know, what kind of home you come from. But, you know, in particular, there are certain girls that are more at risk, right? And so I'm watching all these girls interacting with each other from all walks of life, and just really beginning to own their power, you know, and beginning to, like, they learned how to give compliments to each other, you know? And it's like, if we all learn that from a young age, like how to empower other women and girls, and, you know, to band together rather than to be against each other, we would shine so much more, you know?
Yes, yes.
Like, how, you know, when you get a compliment, it makes your day, right?
Right.
So for girls to be able to give compliments to each other, and, you know, sincere compliments. And that was not it. I mean, there was so much to the day, but the point is, it was just really beautiful to see all these girls coming together and to begin to put focus on these ideas that we are all enough, you know, that we all have something to offer just based on who we are. We don't have to be anybody else other than who we are right now in this moment, and we are enough. So
I think it's amazing, but you know, I often think, what about the young boys, the little boys who are taught when they're 5 years old to not show your emotions anymore? You can't cry, you know, you've got to be a man. You know, I just keep thinking we're doing a lot for little girls, but I think we need to also do more for the young men and little boys in the world, because, you know, it just seems like most of the violence that we see is coming from men, and I think it's so important that they too learn how to love themselves, and, you know, learn that it's not okay to rape a young woman who is unconscious. You know, where does that mindset start? Where did that come from? So, you know, I'm really going to be focusing on that too. I think in my next summit is just reaching out to starting a program so that these young men have more self-worth and more self-love for themselves, and would never, ever treat anyone like that.
Imagine how the world would be different if every young man loved himself and every young woman loved herself.
Yeah.
We'd have a whole different world, completely different world.
Yeah.
So yes, Paula, do it.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Yes.
So as we come to a close to our interview, I'm on a mission to change the definition of self-love in the dictionary, because the words that are used to describe it is conceit, vanity, and narcissism. So I would like to know what words you would use to change that definition.
That is so crazy. I can't, it's like almost unfathomable that that's the definition of self-love. So, which shows the importance of this work that you're doing in the summit, because it's like, you know, time to redefine self-love.
Yes.
And get it out there in a much bigger way, so we can have a really positive impact. So, I mean, the first thing that comes to me really is total self-acceptance. So it's like accepting yourself for who you are, with all with, you know, the things that you love and the things you may not love, right? And the things you may not like about yourself, but knowing that, you know, we're all human beings, we're all works in progress, and we all have limitations. And just to bring that awareness to the fact that we have to what your limitations are, you know, and then constantly being consciously working through them, right? And so to be able to say, yeah, you know, I'm human and I'm not perfect, and yes, I have great qualities, but I also have these limitations, and I accept that about myself. And, you know, when I yell at my children when I don't want to, like, that's the last thing I want to do is yell at my children. I don't want that kind of relationship with them, but I'm human, and sometimes my buttons get pushed.
Yes.
And And so to be able to accept, like, okay, I yelled, and that doesn't define who I am. And, it's a part of me that I can transform still too, but I accept that about myself. And I think when we have that full self-acceptance, then to me, that is self-love, right? Accepting all the things we like and don't like about ourselves at any given time. And the other thing is the honoring of the self. So it's a self. And how do we honor ourselves? Well, back to what I was saying about self-care, like, what are your needs and how can you take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, so that your total well-being is considered and taken care of. And maybe that means you have to say no to certain things, or set those boundaries like we were talking about earlier. Or, maybe it means you have to have an uncomfortable conversation with somebody in the honoring of yourself. But when we honor ourselves in that way, that's the ultimate act of self-love. And I am very sure that when we do that, other people, they'll respect that. They may not like it. They may not like that you just told them no. But they will respect it, because when you're very clear about your boundaries, like, everybody wants to know their boundaries and what's acceptable and what's not, right? And so people will respect you for it, even if they don't like it. And that, to me, is the way we know when we fully love ourselves is when we can speak our mind and not be in fear of what other people are going to think about us. When we feel stronger about who we are than we do about giving our power to others, when we feel like, oh, what are they going to think? Right?
I think we all can relate to that.
Yeah, I think so too. Absolutely. And really, at the end of the day, like, who cares? Because they're going to think what they're going to think anyway. All of that. And so we have to live our lives based on our values, on what's important to us, each one of us, and be true to ourselves, because we are with ourselves our whole lives. Nobody else is going to be with us our entire life, as much as we'd like some people to. And, and so when we're in integrity with our values, with who we are, with what we want, with where we're headed and how we're living our lives, then other people will adjust, they'll adapt to that. And it's about us training them in how we are and how to respond to us, right? So, yeah. That's
beautiful. God, you speak so beautifully. So what I'd like you to do now is to share with the viewers your free gift offer.
Okay, so I was thinking about what would be really fitting and really beneficial for people, and I had two things. I couldn't decide between the two, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to give them both. So,
thank you for that. That's very generous.
Absolutely. I think it's all about serving people and, giving people what they need, and then they can do with it what they will, right? Yeah.
Right.
So what I have is I have a 7 steps for overcoming I am not enough. It's a PDF that I created that guides you through each step of really looking at, like, how do you, because I think we all have those beliefs in some way, shape, or form, right? And so, how do people overcome those beliefs? How did I get to where I am, where I'm very strong in who I am? I love myself very much, and it didn't start out that way. And so how did I get here? Well, so I'm sharing some of the steps, the 7 steps that I came up with that hopefully will serve you. And, and then the other one is the master key to unlock your confidence, courage, and clarity. And in this, I go into, it's really about courageous connection. And I share with you what are some ways to really connect to your power sources so that you can be really effective. Like, these are going to have the most impact in your life.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
I love it. That's really good stuff. Thank you. I love it. Well, our time is over, and I just want, I know, because I just think we could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Again, I want to thank you so much. And is there anything else that you wanted to share that we haven't spoken about?
Actually, yeah, I just wanted to share that, the Multi-Passionate Moms Club that, that I'm launching. And I'll send, on the gift page, I'll put a link so anybody can check it out that wants to look at that.
Great.
But it's, I'm super excited about it. And I feel like we really need this kind of community and, really calling each other forth and lifting each other up to our soul's purpose, our potential, our greatness, and being able to balance, the things that are most important to us. So I wanted to just share with that. And, I just want to say to each person watching or listening that you are amazing, that you have a reason for being here that's very unique to you. And the world needs that. They need you to be who you are authentically, to step into your power, to take a stand for what you care about deeply. And it doesn't matter what anybody else cares about or thinks about that for you. It matters what's in your heart. And take a stand for it. The world really needs you to share that gift right now. Like, now's the time to do that. And that's how, the other way that we turn self-love around, right, is by giving, and not from a place of depletion, but giving from a place of, this is my heart. I'm giving because this is what lights me up. This makes me feel good. And when we put the emphasis out there, it takes away from all the negative self-talk and all the things, the emphasis we're putting on ourselves that we don't love. We can turn it out there for the good. So that's one of my tips for, if you want more self-love, give more in a way that's really authentic.
Oh, beautiful. Perfect. I applaud you. Bravo. Bravo. This is good stuff.
Yeah, and Paula, I really want to thank you for what you're doing, because it takes courage to do what you're doing.
Thank you.
Step out there and, do something you haven't done before, and to say, I really want to make an impact in a much bigger way. And I don't exactly know what I'm doing or how I'm doing it, or, whatever, but I'm figuring it out. And I know that it's going to help people, and you are helping people. And, congratulations for doing this. And thank you so much for doing it, because it's so, so needed.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm finally stepping into what I'm supposed to be doing, and it feels amazing. And again, thank you so much for your wisdom and your love. Thank you. And everyone, please remember to always love yourself first. And I'll be speaking with you soon. Bye now.